And we are live. That is right. We are live, direct, pop up live, not planned, not tagged. Should have tagged it, but it is what it is. I'm gonna redo this video. I'm just gonna see if somebody that message hops on here. But anyways, I digress. So as you see the tail of the tape, and this is what I've been saying the whole time, they're the same height. Now, could this be inaccurate? Could it be wrong? Yes. Could Crawford be taller by an inch at the most? Maybe. But I don't think so. Because I've seen these dudes around each other quite a few times now. And I'm telling y'all, when it's all said and done, and both fighters are in the ring and they're both flat footed with boxing shoes on, which doesn't give you any height. What's going on, Cash Crypto? I'm going to drop the link if you want to get on in just a second. When you both see them in the ring, when you see both of them in the ring, I don't think there's going to be any height difference. Now, what's not debatable, what's not arguable, is the reach difference. We know Terrence Crawford is going to have the longer reach. We know he has a 74-inch reach, and we also know Canelo has a 70.5-inch reach, which means Crawford's going to have a 3.5 reach advantage. So, with having the reach advantage, ideally, you would want to stay on the outside. Why? Because when you have the reach advantage, you want to keep people at the end of your punches so you generate full power. So right off the bat, getting in the pocket with a guy who might be shorter than you, don't think he is, but has significantly shorter arms than you, to me doesn't make a lot of sense because then you're walking into his power. You're giving up your advantage of the reach. You want to use that distance. I know a lot of people say Crawford's a dog, he's a dog, he's a dog, and he's a dog. He might be. So is Canelo. However, you don't get to where Crawford's at. You don't get to where Canelo's at by being dumb. And I just think going to the pocket would be a mistake for Crawford. I've said it numerous times on numerous channels, numerous platforms. Crawford's best chance of winning is to emulate what he did against Victor Postol. Use the jab, run Canelo in the straights, and get out. 9 times out of 10 is going to be the southpaw jab with a straight left. And then get out. Jab, 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 straight, get out. Circle, use your angles, but don't do what people are saying you should do, which I don't think he will. Get in that pocket and try to let go of combinations, because the longer you're in that pocket, the more combinations you let go, you give Canelo that chance to catch you. And the thing about it is this, what we know, and again, I don't believe this is debatable, we know Canelo can take Crawford's power. We know it because he's taking harder puncher's power. But what we don't know, what is the $1 million question, is can Crawford take Canelo's power? And I don't think fight night is the night that you find out if you could take that power. I really think it would be ill-advised and a tactical mistake if you test the waters, because it might be something that's too deep for you to swim in. The current might be too strong, pull your head under, and you drown and can't get back up. And that's why I believe that Crawford's advantages will be moving around the ring, using his probably right jab, straight left. Because in my opinion, people call Crawford a switch hitter. I don't believe he is. I believe he's truly a southpaw. Yes, he can fight in traditional stance. However, that's not what he favors. That's not what he's best at. Every time Crawford gets into trouble, he goes southpaw immediately, like clockwork. If it's looking bad for him or becoming bad for him, or the tide seem to be shifting, he immediately goes into southpaw, which tells me he's naturally a southpaw, regardless of what hand he was born with, whether he's right-handed, ambidextrous, left-handed, it's irrelevant. The fact of the matter is when people show their true colors is when their back's against the wall. When your back's against the wall is when you're pushed to the limits. And every time we've seen Crawford in them murky waters, he's always going southpaw. So I believe Crawford is a true southpaw that can fight traditional. I don't think he's a true switch hitter, because a true switch hitter, it doesn't matter if they're in danger in traditional or southpaw, they're not going to switch up immediately. They're going to work in that stance that they're in, get out of danger, maybe switch up, maybe stay in the stance, etc. So I think more than likely Crawford's going to approach this fight in the southpaw stance, and Canelo's going to have to combat that because, while Canelo has fought southpaws before, you don't fight them often. So southpaws always tend to have an advantage over traditional style fighters because every time a southpaw fights, they see a traditional style, damn near every time. Every time a traditional fighter fights, they normally see a traditional style. So when a southpaw gets in there, it throws them off because they're not used to it. They don't fight it often. While I say Canelo has fought it, it's still not an often occurrence. So that's why southpaws tend to have an advantage because you've never seen a traditional fighter chase southpaws. And what I mean by that is, if you look at a fighter's resume, 95% of the fighters they fought are all going to be traditional. All right. That's whether they're traditional themselves or southpaw. 95 of their opponents are going to be traditional. You've never seen a traditional style fighter chase 95% southpaws because it's just not that many. Not that many fighters fighting that stance. So it gets very hard, especially as you go up in the ranks, to fight southpaws. So again, I think Crawford's going to come out in that southpaw stance. By the way, hit that thumbs up if you're listening, you're liking what you hear. And again, rinse and repeat, like I said before, it's going to be the Victor Post style fight all over again. He's going to fight him from range, work off the angle, try to catch Canelo coming in, closing the gap, hit him with a straight, maybe a check hook. He might check hook him because I believe Canelo is vulnerable to a check hook. Now, again, the $1 million question is going to be two things. One, can Crawford generate enough power to knock Canelo off balance? It doesn't have to hurt him. It's just got to knock him off balance. Can he do it? If he can knock Canelo off balance, then it's very easy to rinse and repeat. Jab, straight, hook out, spin out, straight out, jab out. It's very easy to get out and shift the angle if you can knock a dude off balance, because then Canelo has to reset to regain that approach angle whenever he's going for the attack. Whereas Crawford, he's just got to get out once he knocks him off balance. And when Canelo's trying to reset, knock him off balance again, circle out. Really, that's the key to victory, in my opinion. Going into the pocket, trying to show that you're going to outdog Canelo in a weight class you never fought out, in my opinion, is a recipe for destruction. It's got all the markings, all the makings of you giving up your advantages, especially since you're touted as the higher IQ, the better boxer, the better footwork. To not utilize that, again, would be foolish. Now, Canelo. I think Canelo's going to work off the high guard, and he's going to try to approach Crawford like he did Bivol. Now, you could say that's dumb because he lost to Bivol. That is true. But Crawford's not a 175-pound fighter. He's not 6 foot tall. So Canelo has approached other mobile fighters in the high guard to try to cut off the ring, take what they got. Against Skull, people say that's a lackluster fight. Cool, but he still outlanded Skull. Against Billy Joe Saunders, he broke his orbital bone. Against Caleb Plant, he slept him. Those are mobile fighters who moved. And I'm using those as examples because, in my opinion, those are the most recent. Now, we could get into how Berlanga started fighting off the back foot like he's never done. Munguia started to go on the back foot like he never does. Charlo was going off the back foot like he never does. I'm not bringing those as examples because those aren't purist boxers that fight that way. Munguia, Berlanga, Charlo, they're boxers, but they come forward with aggression. Yes, they control the range to a degree, but they try to hurt you. They try to get you out of there. They try to set up combinations, and Canelo shut all that down. Now, people are going to make the argument Canelo hasn't had a knockout in years, and that is true. However, the last time Canelo's fought a guy who was small for 168, he did stop, and that was Caleb Plant. Past Caleb Plant, all these dudes are big. Now, you could say John Ryder was small because he was the same height as Canelo, but John Ryder is a big dude when it comes to weight. I guarantee you John Ryder was every bit 195, 200 pounds by the time he got into the ring with Canelo because he's a very stocky built guy like Canelo. They're very similar in stature. Um, and he's tough. Because arguably you could say John Ryder beat Callum Smith. Arguably, you could say that Callum Smith should not have won that fight. And that's really why I knew Canelo would beat Callum Smith. I actually did a breakdown a while back stating that if Callum Smith lost to John Ryder, who's not as good as Canelo, and they're the same stature, they both come forward, they counter, although I would say John Ryder is more aggressive, in my opinion, than Canelo. Canelo's more of a purist counterpuncher, whereas John Ryder is more of a, I don't want to say boxer puncher, I'd say a puncher boxer. He's a puncher first, boxer second. But still, very similar arm length, height, etc., body build, stature, everything is very similar. So I had a feeling that Canelo would beat Callum Smith because of that. But again, when I look at their resumes, and resumes don't win fights, and I don't believe in triangle theories, but I have said multiple times, I can see fighters who fight like Bud. Now, do they switch hit like Bud? No. But again, I got to come back full circle to Terrence is not a true switch hitter. In my opinion, and y'all can disagree, he's a southpaw because that's what he's most comfortable in. So the switch hitting would be something that Canelo really hasn't come across. Yes, they said he was training with Boots. I don't know how long Boots was in his camp. I don't know if Boots was in his camp for this fight or William Skull. I don't even know how many days or rounds he did with Canelo. Boots can switch hit. I would say Boots is more of a purist switch hitter because I've seen him fight in both stances and not change when he gets in danger in either. And I haven't really seen him favor either. To me, it's pretty much the same. His approach, the way he moves, the way that he fights, his style doesn't change up much whenever he goes left to right, right to left. So I just, like I said, I think Crawford, he may start traditional, but it's going to be very quickly that he goes southpaw. And for the majority of the fight, he's going to remain southpaw. Unless he just gets out there and does what the Crawford fans believe he's going to do. Walks on water and just too fast, too skilled, and beats the brakes off of Canelo. And then he can have his way with him. Do whatever he wants to do. He can style on him. I don't think that's likely. I don't think that's going to happen. What's going on, Angie? How you doing? I got to tag my video so we get more people in here, especially with a pop-up, because the notifications don't be working. But again, that's the only thing I can say that Canelo hasn't seen is the switch hitting. And I just don't know how much that's a factor because I don't think Terrence is going to switch hit a lot. But when it comes to Canelo, I can't think of one fighter Crawford's ever fought that fought like Canelo. I cannot think of any fighter he's ever been in the ring with that is Canelo-esque. Somebody who's going to stalk you, come in at high guard, be able to take your best shot, not take a step back and keep coming forward. You got to understand, this is the same dude, Canelo, who walked through Triple G's punches that was stopping everybody at 160. Same dude, while he was aged, and I picked Canelo to win, was still walking through Kovalev's hard shots in the high guard. I don't know when's the fight. It's not this Saturday, next Saturday. So in about 9 days. It's on the 13th in 9 days. So the last press conferences should start next week, Bronx Vibes. Very soon they should start up. And then we're going to see the final press conferences, see how they both look, how much weight they're carrying, how they size up next to each other. I think both guys are making a mistake, though, whenever I look at them. I think Canelo's planning to come in smaller to be faster, and I think Crawford's coming in bigger to take more damage and be more powerful. And I think they're both tactically making a mistake by how they're coming to the scales. We'll see. But if Crawford hits 168 on the dot and Canelo comes in anywhere below 168 on the dot, I think they both make a tactical error. See, there are weight classes for a reason. However, you got to fight at a weight that you're comfortable at. Canelo is comfortable being probably, I say, 185 by fight night, in my opinion. He's somewhere around 185, 190 by fight night, if I had to guess. And Crawford probably is around like 164 or 165 by fight night. And I understand wanting to be bigger, and I understand wanting to be smaller, to be faster. But when you're the age of both these fighters, taking off and putting on can be a negative. Adding too much weight could get you tired faster. It can make you slower. And if you're not reacting the same, now you're getting hit by stuff you normally don't get hit by. For Canelo, it could take away his durability. Now you're lighter than you've ever been, and shots that normally wouldn't hurt you are hurting you. Yeah, you're a little bit faster, but how much speed did you gain? If it's not enough to catch him like you want to catch, then it's a negative, especially if you lose your durability in that chin, because that's your number one asset in this fight. So I'm curious to see what they're going to weigh in at on the scale, because I think that's going to tell a lot about how they approach this fight. But I think if Canelo came in small and Crawford came in really big, I think they both are making a mistake. But again, Canelo, what I think he's going to do is what Canelo does. He's going to use that high guard. He's going to lug forward. He's going to look for them body shots. He's going to try to trap Crawford against the ropes in the corner. He's going to try to bait him into exchanges by waving him in, like he's done several times, and several fighters fall for it. And he's going to look up to set up big shots. Crawford has got to take advantage of how economical Canelo is, especially now. Canelo doesn't throw a lot of shots. He averages maybe 220 to like 260 punches a fight. And Crawford could throw over 400. So you've got to use that volume, especially if you're not going in there to rock Canelo and you're trying to beat him from range. You got to use that volume and make it convincing. For every one shot Canelo lands, you need to land 3 or 4. But you need to do it on the move so we can't counter off of that. But yeah, I think for Canelo, it's very easy how he's going to approach this fight. High guard, lug forward, try to cut off the ring, bait him into exchanges, catch him to the body when you get him close to the ropes, to the corner. Look for the overhand. I know that sounds crazy because they're the same height, but still, especially with Crawford being southpaw, you could time him with that overhand whenever he tries to do a pull counter. You could really line up that chin well. I don't like giving away too much because I picked Canelo to win. And I know what would be the best asset for Crawford to look out for, but I'm not going to break that down. I'm not going to put that out there into the ether. There's one punch that Canelo needs to exploit, especially if Crawford goes southpaw, and I think he could really mess him up. I mean, it's going to be hard if he starts throwing it. Now, what I will say about Crawford is a much cleaner puncher. And what do I mean by that? He throws a lot more straight shots, whereas Canelo likes a lot of looping shots, a lot of hooks. Again, Canelo is about power. Bevel told y'all. He said it. Shot for shot, Canelo hits harder than Beterbiev. Beterbiev has heavier hands, meaning that each individual shot adding up adds up to more. But when we're talking about full throttle balls to the wall, I'm trying to knock your head off, Canelo hits harder than Beterbiev, who had nothing but stoppages before he fought Bevel. So I've seen fights to where Canelo didn't look like he did his best, and dudes are bruised from their wrists to their shoulders. I've seen him look like he separated biceps. I've seen him break faces. Crawford's got to be careful in these exchanges. I truly do not believe, and he could prove me wrong, but I don't believe he could stand in the pocket with him. What's going on, Des22? I'm going to drop the link in a moment. I got to get my food because I'm hungry, and I'm not going to be live for long. I was trying to see if somebody was going to come through that I sent a message to, but it doesn't look like they are. I don't think they will. But it's to be expected. You know, I'm called their number one hater, but they don't want to come back. All right, I just dropped the link so other people can hop on because I'm about to go grab some lasagna. I want to listen to other people talk and see what y'all got to say, if anybody can hop on the panel. I'm also, while y'all talk, I'm going to start tagging this video as we get more and more views in here, because we're literally climbing in numbers, climbing in people watching without any tag to this video, not one. There's going to be more power behind the jab from Canelo, but Crawford's jab could be more elusive. Who wins the jab battle to you? If Crawford fights like I think he should, like how he fought against Victor Post style, I think he could beat Canelo in the jab. I mean, Canelo's got a hell of a jab. Don't get me wrong. Canelo's jab is never talked about and is very underrated, because if you remember, in the rematch against Triple G, it was the jab that pushed Triple G back. So Canelo's definitely got a jab, and he's good at the jab. But I just feel like Crawford is better. I think his A to B explosion, in the way he can work off the line, is a better jab. Again, this is something I bring up too, because it's very hard to say. Because what I've been telling people is, we are judging Canelo's footwork, his jabbing, off of fighting guys who are 6 foot or taller, who are 200 pounds by the time they get in the ring. So it's going to be interesting to see what he looks like against somebody his own height, because all those physical disadvantages when it comes to height and stature dissipate. And the thing about it is when I look at pure boxing, right? Pure boxing, I'm going to use a light type opponent, and I'm not doing a triangle theory, but we're just going to use a light type opponent real fast, right? I watched Canelo fight Amir Khan. I saw Crawford fight Amir Khan. Now, I'm happy for y'all to correct me where I'm wrong, but I felt like Amir Khan, up until he got one-shotted, was outboxing Canelo. I felt like he was a lot faster, and he was hitting a lot more clean shots on Canelo. Amir, to me, was outboxing him until he wasn't, and then it was just over. Whereas when I look at Crawford, now, granted, it's not the same Amir Khan. It's not at the same time period. However, Crawford made him quit. Amir didn't get knocked out. He didn't want to continue. He was done with the fight. He had the fight beat out of him. So when I look at a light type opponent, which that might be their only one that I can think of, Crawford outboxed Amir and made him quit. Canelo got outboxed, but one-shotted him. Now, the thing about the one-shot is, it's not like he one-shotted him by luck. He one-shotted him by setting that shit up. Because Canelo is arguably one or two best counterpunchers in all of boxing. So, MMA boxing addict, this is what I will say. I never thought Lara beat Canelo. I thought Canelo edged him, but I will say I thought Austin Trout beat Canelo. I thought Austin Trout was robbed against Canelo, and I still feel that way. But against Lara, I felt like Lara, he had very good movement. He was making Canelo miss, but he just wasn't consistent enough with his output. And Canelo, if anything, was very consistent in that fight. Even though he was missing, he was still hitting. And I just felt like when Canelo was being consistent, which was the majority of the whole fight, he was just landing the cleaner, better shots. Lara might have slightly outlanded him. I'm not sure. I'd have to look it up. But when it came to like the quality of shots, I just felt like Canelo was edging him. Now, it wasn't a landslide victory, but I did feel like Lara lost. I was hoping somebody would hop up on the panel. Also, we're not monetized tonight, so, it's pretty much Wild Wild West in here. So I'm going to take it. Buddy is not going to hop on my live, so it says 28 minutes ago, so we're going to delete this comment because it ain't being responded to. Damn, we just lost everybody that quick. So, hey, To all y'all listening, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get this lasagna so I can eat, and I'm gonna try not to smack in the mic while I talk about this fight. But give me like 2 to 3 minutes, and I'll be right back. Hey, Ty, hop on the panel. I just got back. I'm curious to hear how other people see this fight going, and I want to eat this lasagna. So I need other people to talk. I just had a whole bunch of people watching. I walk away for 2, 3 minutes, and then it evaporates. That's hilarious. Um, can you hop on, Ty? I'm not gonna be live for long though. This is gonna be a short live. By the way, y'all check out Jab Queen Boxing. Subscribe to her channel. I have the link in the chat. I don't know if she can get on or not, but she held it down with me last time I was live. Actually, Let me stop. Let me stop eating this food because it sounds horrible. But yeah. So for everybody who's just joining, or if you need to go back on the playback, I already broke down how I think the fighter is going to approach the fight. When we look at Canelo, he's more active. He had a fight this year, 4 months ago, against William Skull. Very lackluster performance. When we look at Crawford, he fought Israel Mazmadov. What was that? Last year? Yeah. In like August? I believe August of last year. So it's been, by the time they get in the ring, about 13 months since Crawford's fought. And it's been 4 months since Canelo's fought. So Canelo was coming into this fight the more active fighter. However, what I will say is Crawford tends to stay out of the ring for a year, for a while now. Probably since going back to like 2020, I believe he's only fought like once a year. So I don't know if it's a bad thing for Crawford, especially with his age, because sometimes being less active is better when you get older because it gives your body more time to heal. But he definitely, for the last 5 years, has been taking a year out of the ring in between fights, between every fight. So I don't think he'll be ring rusted because it's just what he's accustomed to. It's what he's acclimated to doing. What's going on, Jack Queen? How you see this fight?
Well, hello, Tony, Mr. Reviews. Oh my gosh. I saw you live and hopped off the phone. I was just on the phone talking about this. Well, I just got here, so I really don't know the breakdown that you've been through already. But as far as I can tell, Crawford, he definitely is the more athletic fighter. He absolutely is a better boxer to me. However, I just don't see him being able to win this fight. Crawford has a tendency to fight emotionally when he's pieced up. He tends to want his lick back, which is not going to fare well against somebody like Canelo. Canelo is the stronger, more harder hitting fighter. I don't know why a lot of people don't think that he is, or as if him being a power puncher means that he doesn't have anything else. Canelo has a hell of a ring IQ. And when we're going to see what happens in the fight. Me personally, I'm going with Canelo, just outside of the experience, the weight that he's been at that weight class for a lot longer than Bud Crawford. I know you said that he only fights once a year, which is true, but by the time of this fight, he'll be out of the ring over a year. I think it'll be 406 days by the time they step into that ring versus one another. I'm not sure how he's going to be able to move around with that extra weight on him. Now, I know people have said that, he's had a year to get acclimated to this weight, but that is not necessarily true. This fight has not been in the making for a year, if I'm not mistaken. It just hasn't. I know he went to Turkey and begged Turkey for this fight a little while ago, but it definitely hasn't been a year. So unless they were scheming and plotting and planning on him a long time ago, I just don't see that. I don't know. I mean, he has a chance. Obviously, he's definitely not a slouch in the ring, but I'm edging it to Canelo. I'm sorry.
With all due respect, Dub Right Side is in the building. How do you see the fight going?
Well, first things first. Man, shout out to my brother Tony. Welcome back, my brother. I hope everything is well with you. We still trying to recruit you to out order promotions. I gotta let you know that. We still trying to recruit you, my brother.
Is that what your email was about? I ain't even logged into my email or nothing.
Don't worry about it. Yeah, that's what the email is about. Trying to recruit you to out order promotions. We taking over the debate series, but we'll talk about that later.
Just really fast on a side note, like I've been on a couple of panels since then, but I had the flu for like the last 2.5 weeks.
No, I got it.
No. I still got like this drip that won't go away. I don't know what's going on.
Did you have COVID?
See, I assumed I had the flu, but I never got tested. But I just know like I still got like a lot of mucus, and we damn near 3 weeks now.
Well, I don't know what you got. If you don't know what you got, I definitely don't know. But we wishing you a speedy recovery, my brother. We wishing you a speedy recovery. And I hope everything is well with you and yours. Shout out to my sister Jab. I gotta tell her, and I think this is the first time I done did this on alive. Happy birthday to my sister, man. Happy birthday to her. She turned 29. You know what I'm saying? So
Oh shit!
shout out to my sister Jack,
That
man.
is, first of all, I wish I was 29, but yes, my birthday was the 3rd.
Hey,
Well, happy belated.
Thank
I
you.
don't know nothing about nothing. She 29 in my until she tell me different. Like I told her, until you tell me different, you 29 in my book. So,
We'll go with
uh,
that. Listen, I ain't gonna
Hey,
argue.
Dub, what they say? Black girls are 29 forever.
hey, that's a fact. That's a fact.
I don't know what
So,
facts y'all reading. Go ahead.
but shout out to my sister, man. Much love and respect to the Jab Queen, man. Um, man, I got a 60-40 Canelo. You know what I'm saying? But I will say I think there are multiple pathways for Bud to win this fight.
Mm-hmm.
And
He
I'm
ain't gonna
very
win. Yeah.
here's the reason I'm so interested. And I said, man, it seemed like it's been a little lackluster as far as the excitement for the fight goes, but um, I'm starting to get that much more excited as things are going on. And so the ways I see for Bud to win this thing, I think that if he goes out there and I don't think he can hurt Canelo. I don't see him hurting Canelo, right? Maybe to the body, possibly, but you're gonna have to go out there. You're gonna have to utilize your range. You're gonna have to utilize your distance. You're gonna have to utilize your boxing skills. You know what I'm saying? And you can't get in there because I think we would all agree when Bud get hit with some shit, he want his lick back, and you can't get in no damn firefight with Canelo. I don't think that's uh, um. I think that's the worst way for you to go out there and try to fight Canelo. You're gonna have to box. You know what I'm saying? So, I, and the other thing, we always talk about Bud download information. Man, he ain't gonna be able to take 3 rounds off, 4 rounds off the download information against Canelo. I understand they say Canelo want to download the information as well. I think it may start slow, but you're gonna have to put hands on him early in that fight for you to win the fight. You know what I'm saying? I think what it's gonna come down to the body work that Canelo's able to do, and hence the reason I got a 64. I could be wrong about this. I ain't got no problem being wrong. But Eddie Reynoso, when you throw in combinations, what's that last shot you gonna throw? That left hook to the liver. That's the last shot that you're gonna end with in your combinations. And I think that could be a possibility as far as Canelo goes. But man, I'm really interested, and I can't wait for this fight. I think it's a hell of a fight. You know what I'm saying? I got a 60-40 Canelo. I think that it's gonna be a time where Canelo he's gonna step on the gas. He's gonna really try to walk Bud down. I don't think Bud footwork and movement is nearly what it used to be, and so I think he's gonna be able to land some big shots there. And like I said, Bud got that dog mentality in him, but that dog mentality is one of those things that may get you beat in this fight, trying to come forward and or trying to get your lick back against somebody like Canelo Alvarez.
I
And
just
go ahead, go ahead.
no, my bad. Finish up.
Last point. And Canelo got a beard. That man, he got one of the greatest chins. I say that respectfully. When you taking shots from Triple G the way he took them, the man got a beard on him. So I think all that's going to play a part in the fight.
I just, I might be reading into this too much, but I don't see that dog in Crawford whenever he's across from Canelo. I saw it in the first press conference, right? Just hear me out where I'm going with this, right? The first press conference, he got all up in Canelo's face to the point of where Canelo went to push him, right? Then Canelo let him know, like, do that shit again. And the next press conference, Crawford didn't do that shit. He didn't try to get close to him. Because if you watch Canelo walk up in that second press conference, he literally walked up to him, got into a boxer stance, ready to swing on him. And I think Crawford saw that. And I didn't see the same fire whenever they did that last face off as I did in the first one. So I don't know, dude. Like, I really, I understand, but I say this all the time. There's a lot of different dogs, and it don't matter how much heart a Chihuahua has, it gets eaten by a pit bull every time. And I just, I think this is just a small dog versus a big dog. And the thing is this is my question I want to pose to both y'all. And I agree. Crawford has the better IQ. He works the ring better. However, do you think me, us, and a lot of people, we could be very, very, very overrating Crawford's IQ and footwork and underestimating Canelo's, being that Crawford ain't never been in there with 6 foot plus 200-pound men, and everybody that Canelo fights is. So when you're significantly undersized, your footwork might not look as good fighting people your own size and smaller than you. Do you think that we could be really underestimating one guys and overrating the other guys?
I'll let my sister go first.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
You crispy.
Yeah, we can.
Crispy.
Okay.
You crispy.
Yeah. I think, Dub, I think that's what we were actually just talking about on the phone. I think that, like I said, you know, people, for whatever reason, they say is Canelo has power, but in order to exert that power, you have to hit a motherfucker, right? So he definitely does have some sort of ring IQ. He's going in there with the experience. He's been up against all kind of fighters. You know what I'm saying? The man has 60 plus fights. So he's possibly seen a Bud Crawford before. A Bud Crawford ain't seen the caliber of Canelo. And I know that, you know, Bomac and them, they think they probably see something based on maybe the Skull fight or his last couple of fights. But if Saul come in that ring, it's going to be a problem. You know what I'm saying? So let's just hope he's well prepared. And yes, I think it is a great possibility. I think we were just talking about this too. I was telling Dub, I said he was rocked by who was that, Gamboa and Mean Machine at a smaller weight class. So I would like to see how his chin holds up against Canelo.
And I don't disagree. My thing is I think that Canelo, I think his IQ is underrated. I think his footwork is underrated. I do think that Bud is the better boxer. I do believe that. But I also think that, man, Canelo know how to get to where he want to be at. You know what I'm saying? Against a lot of these other guys, William Skull, I mean, hey, if you go, I thought Canelo could have cut the ring off much better than he did. I thought that. But I don't think Bud, especially, what is it? He's going to be, what, 38, 39 in this fight? I don't think he's gonna move that way.
Yeah, he's 38, pushing 39.
I don't think he's gonna move.
Yeah, he'll have a birthday before this fight, though. He has a birthday before this fight.
So I just don't think he's gonna move that way. I think it's gonna be more about boxing technique. I do think that the corner is gonna have a lot to play in this fight, but man, Canelo a dog. He a dog just like Bud is. So, like I said, I got it 60-40. I'm picking Canelo to win, but I'm not saying that Bud don't. I think Bud has ways to win the fight. He's going to have to be special on that night. He's going to have to be very special. But I do think that he can be that guy. You know what I'm saying? So, this is one of the reasons, like I said, I haven't been as excited as I'm normally for big fights, but I'm getting more excited listening to it, paying attention to kind of what's going on. I'm getting more excited about the fight. And I think, Bud, I got to say this. I want to say this last point. I want to see how he put the weight on, because listening to Bud when he's talking about not having to cut muscle, those type of things, listening to Bomac saying that, well, hey, you know, I was trying my best to maximize this man's career. You know what I'm saying? Keeping him at the lower weight classes. He could have been fighting at 68, according to Bomac. And so I am looking at all of it. I just, man, we got to see it play out in the ring. And it's a dangerous fight. It's a very dangerous fight. But I do also think the same way Jab just brought up when we were just talking a second ago, man, you get clipped on the chin against Gamboa, you get rocked. Against Green Machine, you get rocked. But then when you don't have to cut as much muscle, you know what I'm saying, then you may have a better chin. You may carry power better.
I
Don't
just
know how it's gonna play out. I don't
I don't
know.
know how I don't know how true that is because like my problem is both of them had lackluster fights in their last fight. However, Canelo fought a guy who, after the fight, on an interview, said he did not try to win. Literally out his mouth said, "I didn't try to win the fight." So my thing is it's kind of like when Ryan Garcia fought to go. It's very hard to fight a fighter who doesn't want to fight you. It's very hard to look impressive against somebody who doesn't want to engage. It's hard. Even Mike Tyson, when he was stopping everybody in the first 20 seconds of the first round, he had fights that went the distance because he had fighters who ran from him. It gets very difficult. But when I look at the Israel Masvidal fight, where Bud didn't look his best, my personal opinion, I didn't think Bud won that fight. I thought it was a draw. I had it 6 rounds to 6 rounds. That's just how I saw it. But if we want to talk about not cutting as much muscle, not cutting as much weight, he moved up and he had less power at 154 than he had against anybody at 147, anybody at 140, anybody at 135. He didn't rock Israel. He didn't stun him. He didn't put him on spaghetti noodles. And Israel Masvidal, come the 10th round, was tired. It looked like a strong breeze could have knocked him over. He was so exhausted from his inexperience on championship level fights, in my opinion. And even with a tired fighter, he couldn't hurt him. And that's my problem. I can't unsee Crawford in there with a guy with only 11 fights, who Virgil Ortiz, who ain't never been a champion, ain't never beat a reigning champion, ain't never done nothing. At this point, Virgil might be hype. We don't know. Because I thought Bokachek beat him. So when I look at Virgil fighting Israel, in my opinion, he sunned that dude. He beat him up the whole time. And then I have to ask myself, is Virgil a better fighter than Crawford? No, not even close. Is Virgil a bigger fighter than Crawford? By far. Okay, now that I know Virgil is bigger and he did damage to Israel and Crawford were around the same size. And that devastating power disappeared overnight. And that's what I can't get past. If you can't hurt a dude with 11 fights, who fights at 154, who won a vacated title, never be the champion, probably will never be a champion again, can't even compete against the other champions, what are you going to do when you're punching on the best chin in all of boxing? And that's why I'm like, it's like, Doug, I could get a Silver Gloves champion, a little 11, 12-year-old who could outbox the shit out of you, but they going to do no damage and you just going to walk the fuck through them and lay them on their ass. It ain't because you're more skilled. It's because you could take everything they do and it doesn't matter what they do. You're just too big, too strong, and they can't compete. And like I said, I can't get past the Israel Masvidal fight. Like, I don't know where this magical power is going to come from Crawford. I don't see how you go up 14 pounds in a division in 154. You had no power. Then you just generate power overnight against a dude who's used to being hit by guys way bigger than you. We're talking about Canelo, while you could see he was age, was walking through Kovalev's best shots, not even stepping backwards, just kept plodding forward. Triple G took his best shots, kept plodding forward. Berlanga, he's fucking trash. Took his best shots, kept going forward. Munguia, I don't think he's good, but he hits hard. Took his best shots, kept plotting forward. Like, I haven't even seen a fighter, especially of recent time, that can even back Canelo up. So if Canelo just walks through him, and then I got to ask myself too, if Canelo can walk through him, the biggest advantage that Canelo does to fighters, in my opinion, is he just hits you. He doesn't try to score. He'll hit you on your shoulder. Look at what he did to Callum Smith's bicep. He'll hit you on the elbow. He'll hit you on the forearm. He'll hit you in the wrist. He'll hit you on the hip. He just breaks you down. How much damage can Crawford take just being hit from the top of his head to his waist nonstop? That's one thing. If he can't keep Canelo off of him, how many rounds can he take being beat on by Canelo?
So I don't think it. I don't think that's and if just to answer your question, I don't think he take a lot of rounds getting beat on. But I don't think that's gonna be the game plan. I don't think they're looking to utilize lateral movement nearly as much as I would expect them to. I think that the game plan is gonna be I'm gonna stay in range and at range. You know what I'm saying? I want to fight him. I want to keep this in the middle of in the middle of the ring. When I have to take that half step back, I can do that. I don't think that, and I'm being respectfully to Canelo. The man ain't he don't in the last. You tell me the last time the man threw over 50 punches in a round. You tell me. He ain't throwing punches like he used to. One of the things, like I said, I think his footwork is very underrated. I think his head movement is very underrated. But I think that Bud, because of the length that he has against Canelo, he gonna try to utilize the shotgun jab and run it down the middle on Canelo and make Canelo continuously reset.
Well, let me ask you
Will
this.
it work? Real quick, will it work? I don't know. That's why I got a 60-40 for Canelo. But at the same time, I don't think that Bud plans to be there, and he may end up being there. He may end up being there, but I don't think he plans to be there for them arm punches. I don't think he planned to be there for none of that shit. So I do think that he did. And listen to Bomac. One thing that I gotta, even though I'm not a huge fan, I think that Bomac, Red, Esau. I think even Bernie. I'll throw Bernie in there. I think they all kind of look at things a little differently and kind of comprise a formula for Bud. And so I do think I agree with what you're saying, but at the same time, I don't think that they expect Bud to be there for a lot of those arm punches. I think that they looking, we gonna counter the counter. You know what I'm saying? As you coming to us, and once you let your hands go, that's when we gonna let our hands go. And when we let our hands go, we look for you to throw hooks, and we trying to run it down the middle. I think that's gonna be the game plan. I just don't know if it works.
My real quick question to you, and then I'll let Ty go, is to counter that. Is it that Canelo doesn't throw a lot of shots, or is it that Canelo's extremely undersized, so he can't afford not to be economical and run into big shots against a Berlanga, against a Munguia? You got to understand, when you're significantly smaller than somebody, you got to fight smarter. So you can't just let your hands just fly. Because if you do, you might run into some shit that you not get enough from. So do you think it's that he just has a stamina issue? Or do you think it's the fact that he has to be more cautious with it because the guys are so much bigger than him?
No, I agree. I do think because the guys are bigger than him, then he's more calculated. I agree 100% with that. All I'm saying is that I think even though, and in this situation, outside of reach, you know what I'm saying, they both 5'8". I think the reach advantage is going to mean something. A 6-inch reach, I believe it's a 6-inch reach. I could be wrong about that. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. But I do think that just as calculated as Canelo going to be, Bud going to be as calculated. And so I think when it really comes down to it, it's gonna get to a point where Canelo going to have to go in that high guard and really press Bud out. That's when I think that he's going to have his most success, especially when if he's able to let combinations go and end with that left hook to the body. The body work from Canelo is going to have to be special in this fight. The body work from Bud going to have to be special if Bud want to win the fight. So, like I said, I think that if Canelo catch him with the right shot, then he can definitely hurt Bud. I just don't see Bud hurting Canelo like that. So I think Bud gonna try to run it down the middle, and the same way he hurt EJ. I don't think he'll hurt Canelo, but I think it's going to be a very similar game plan.
How you feel, Ty?
You was talking to me, Tony?
Yeah, I said, how you feel about what you've been hearing?
Um, I mean, I hear that with the game plan, but what's going to happen? So my biggest thing is this: I see Crawford working on his strengthening, conditioning, and all that good stuff, right? And of course, maybe he won't be that big on fight night, or maybe those muscles won't be there, whatever the case may be. My thing is, what happens when you go in there and you, because you have to earn Canelo's respect. What if you can't? What if anything you throw at him, he's able to withstand and it doesn't really affect him? Because as you pointed out, he has the best chin in boxing. Then what? I mean, because you're going to have to look to outpoint him. All this shit that his fans is talking about, him knocking Canelo out, like, miss me with all of that, because that's just delirium. But what are you going to do? His best bet is going to be to outpoint him, and to outpoint him, you're going to have to get close, and you're going to have to take some of his shots. How many of those shots can you take is going to be the real question.
And the thing too about it is to go with back to what you said, Dub, and to touch what she said about how many punches can you take. I'm gonna counter you, Dub. This is what I'm talking about the size difference, right? 2 years ago, all right, only 2 years ago. So that's not that long ago. I know Canelo fights often, so it seems like it. But John Ryder, Canelo, John Ryder, same height as Canelo, same height as Crawford, right? In that fight, he threw 459 punches. I had to look it up because I knew it was a slugfest. But against John Ryder, somebody his same height, 459 punches. So again, is it the fact that he doesn't throw a lot of shots, or is the fact that these guys are so much bigger than him, he's forced not to throw a lot of shots? And I think, like I said, I really, it's like, I'll give you an example, right? You're going to look better against the middle school football team than you are the JV football team. You're going to look better against the JV football team than you are the college football team, the collegiate. You're going to look better in collegiate football team than you will against the NFL. The thing is you could look like the best dude out there against the middle school teams, but you might not be as good as high school. And then you might be even worse in college. You might even be worse in the NFL. Why? Because these dudes are continually getting bigger and better. And that I really think, my opinion, and I could be wrong, but I think a lot of the disconnect, and I think it's going to be blatantly obvious very quick in this fight, is the fact that people are not accounting for how much bigger these guys are that Canelo was fighting. And I want to play a game with y'all just to give a fun game that I don't think's ever been done. I don't want to do how would Canelo do against Crawford's opponents or Crawford do against Canelo's opponents. What I want to do is opponent for opponent. Who do you think would win off both their resumes? And you just tell me how you think it would go. I don't think anybody's ever done this before. We're going to do this for the first time. So Canelo's last fight was against William Skull. Do you think Israel Masvidal could beat William Skull?
No.
I don't.
All right, so I believe Dub said no as well behind you.
Yeah. No, I said no. I don't think. I think William Skull beats Madrimov.
Okay, so I know the next one is going to be a fighter that Ty likes, but we're going to see what y'all say. Do y'all think Earl Spence Jr. could beat Edgar Berlanga?
Why the hell you say a fighter that I like?
I know you like EJ.
I didn't really care about that fight. I actually bet on Bud in that fight, but nevertheless, do I think EJ beats Berlanga at 168?
At 168, yes.
Ooh, he's definitely more skillful. Probably, because Berlanga's not that good.
Hell no.
What you
You
got,
don't think
Dub?
EJ could beat Berlanga? What the fuck? Where did you come from, Cash?
He came in like a shadow.
Shout out to my brother, man. That's my brother.
Dub, who you got, Berlanga or EJ? And this is at 168. All these fights are at 168.
Berlanga, EJ.
I got Berlanga. I'm sorry, man.
I'll probably pick Berlanga. Well, no, I'm gonna pick EJ. I'll pick EJ over. I don't think Berlanga is nearly as good as people want to make him seem. I would pick EJ to beat Berlanga.
It doesn't matter that size, man. I mean, that shit, man. Y'all don't get it.
We can disagree. I ain't got no problem. I'm just telling
Cash,
you who I'm picking.
Cash, who you got winning? Again, all these fights are at 168.
Don't come up here with that, Cash.
Hey, EJ is my guy. EJ is my dude too. But man, I gotta see the nigga fight at 68 before I say he gonna beat a 68 pounder. Man, come on.
I have to agree with Cash. We gonna call this one a draw.
I just don't think Berlanga is good like that.
I don't think Berlanga is good at all. But I think he has enough power to hurt EJ at 168. I think he can hurt him bad.
Yeah.
It's just the size. Like, you gotta understand, EJ, he's a good fighter, but he's very straight up and down. He doesn't step off the angle a lot. He's got a very good jab. Like, his jab is his biggest asset, in my opinion. But how is that going to stack up against a guy who's longer, taller, bigger, and a hard puncher? I call this one a draw. I agree with Cash, but Cash Crypto, we're going to go back a fight. And remember, every fight's at 168. Who do you think would win, William Skull or Israel Mazmadov?
Skull.
All right, so everybody said Skull. And then we have a two-way draw with the Berlanga EJ fight. Now, let's go to the next fight. Who would win, Jaime Munguia or David Avanesian?
Munguia, easy, man.
It wouldn't even be close. He'll stop that man. He'll stop that man quickly.
Who you got, Ty?
I thought that was a hypothetical. Yeah, Jaime Munguia.
No. I want to go opponent against opponent and I'm just trying to just see. You know what I mean? All right. The next one's going to be Jermell Charlo versus Sean Porter.
Mel all day.
Charlo,
yeah, for sure.
All right. So far, we've gone through 1, 2, 3, 4 opponents, and it's 3 to a draw. All of Canelo's opponents pretty easily beating all of Crawford's at 168. Now, this one might be the closest one that y'all might say so far, but I don't know how y'all are going to answer this. John Ryder versus Kell Brook at 168.
John Ryder stopped Kell Brook.
Yeah, Ryder.
Who you got, Ty?
Yeah, Ryder.
I don't even think a lot about John Ryder. I don't think nothing about him.
I'm about to say, I'm not really sure what his resume is looking like.
So the conversation, and I say this respectfully to you, Tony, we talking apples to oranges.
You know, I call it down the middle because I didn't give Mel. While everybody else thought Mel had a chance to beat Canelo, I said, y'all are crazy.
I said they were crazy.
I thought he was going to get handled just like he did.
Yeah, I didn't think he stood a chance against Canelo. I didn't think EJ stood a chance, and I do not feel like Bud stands a chance. The reason why I'm going down this, Dub, is to show what I mean by this, right? The point I'm trying to drive home is, and I want to do 2 more. That's it. We're going to do this 2 more times, okay? And then I'm going to get to the point of what I'm trying to make. All right, Dub? So the next fight we have.
This your show.
Yeah, no. I got you. The next fight, I want y'all to answer who wins. Triple G at 160 or Amir Khan at 160?
Triple G.
Triple G.
Okay, now here's the last one we're going to end with. Jose Benavidez or Demetrius Bivol at 175?
Bivol.
Come on now.
So the reason why you're saying come on now, this is the point I'm trying to make. All of these fighters but one, we in full agreement on, would dog walk all of Crawford's opponents, all right? Here's the thing. That's what I mean. Are we underestimating Canelo's actual ring IQ, footwork, etc., due to the size of these fighters he's going up against? Because if he was fighting the same guys as Crawford, will we be having the same conversation about his footwork's not that good? He can't cut off.
But the difference would be this, and this is why I don't like the conversation. And I say that respectfully. If he would if Canelo would have fight them down there, those weight classes. Well, let me rephrase that. If Canelo opponents would have fight them, because we're talking about him fighting at 68, right? Those guys, we ain't never seen none of them guys fight at 68.
I understand.
So 9 times out of 10, the bigger guy is going to win the fight.
But that's my point. Canelo's only been fighting bigger guys. So your skill set doesn't look as good when you're outsized.
But in this situation, and I say respect, they're the same height, and Bud is the longer fighter. I think he has more of a chance in this fight.
That's why Canelo don't throw as much against bigger guys, because he gotta, they're bigger. It takes more energy. That's why he's more economical. Shit. If he was fighting smaller dudes, man, he'd be.
And that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to get to, Cash, because I think Canelo's gonna at least throw 450 punches in this fight. At least.
Yeah, I agree. I think that Canelo's gonna outthrow Madrimov, and he's gonna outland Madrimov. And I just don't think, as good as Bud is, I don't think this nigga can hold up to what Canelo's gonna hit him with. He has not, unless he's been in the gym sparring dudes who are cracking like Canelo with no headgear on and with 10-ounce gloves. I don't think Bud understands what he's finna be getting hit with. And I don't think his fans understand it either, man. But we gonna see.
I don't care who Crawford's been sparring. He ain't sparring nobody that's cracking like Canelo.
Like, I know, and he's not sparring
unless they're bringing
headgear.
Unless they're bringing in like headgear. Yeah, unless they're bringing in like Jai Opataya or somebody like that. He ain't fighting nobody that's cracking like Canelo. He's just not
even close.
It's going. See, this the thing, and I wonder. The reason why I was bringing all this up is, while we could all say, and I'm from New York, and I hate Berlanga. I hate the fact that he's from New York. The thing is Berlanga is a come forward aggressive fighter. Even against Shiraz, he was trying to knock him out. He got knocked out, but he was coming forward. Canelo turned him into a runner. He turned Munguia, who's an aggressive come forward fighter, into a runner. He turned Charlo into a runner. All these dudes who are, I'm going to come at you, I'm going to beat you up, I'm going to knock you out. He always turns them into fucking runners.
And they in there weighing 200 pounds, probably fighting.
200 pounds, 6 foot plus.
You know what I mean? This shit gonna be funny, man.
I just, like I said, I hope Crawford wins. I know people say I'm a Bud hater because I don't have it in me to be a fangirl for somebody and just cheerlead. I can't do it. Like, if I honestly don't believe that the fighter I want to win can win, I'm not going to say they're going to win just because I like them. That's not the way to look at a fight. I like you, so you have to win. That's how you get picks wrong. You know what I mean? And like I said, I think the game plan is, if you go back and watch the Postol fight, I think that's how he's going to try to fight Canelo, because that's the only way he can beat him, in my opinion. If he doesn't fight Canelo like he fought Victor Postol, he's going on his backside.
Yeah, but I don't even think he can win that fight. Trying to fight him like trying to evade, and run some shit down the middle. I don't even think he can win that shit right there. Not against Canelo. The judges ain't gonna give you that. That would be a close fight, because Victor Postol ain't no Canelo. Shit, man, this is gonna be a tough ass fight for Bud. If he wins this fight, I'm gonna give a nigga all the props in the world, because he gonna have to dig deep and bring some shit from Valhalla that I don't even think he got.
Bring fucking Ragnarok down on Canelo. Like, bro, I'll say this right now, and I said this earlier on a panel where I guess they said I wasn't really 245 pounds, but I could get on camera. But anyways, I digress. If Canelo loses this fight and Crawford beats him, Crawford's got to be, without arguing, a top 10 ATG.
I put him around 20.
Hold on. You said if Canelo wins and Crawford loses?
No, I said if Canelo loses and Crawford wins this fight, Crawford is a top 10 ATG without argument, in my opinion.
I give him top 15.
Man, I wrote a list. I got a list somewhere of at least 20 guys. I just can't put him above, no matter what he does, because of his because of the strength of schedule. But I mean, shit. Anywhere in the top 20 is nigga. That's great for all the people who done came and gone in boxing. Shit. But he's
If,
definitely, if he beats Canelo, he up there somewhere.
if he beat Canelo, I give him top 15. I'm just saying.
This is
That's
just
my
the first elite fighter that I see Bud gonna get in the ring with, who ain't off a long layoff, who ain't damn near retired, who ain't got one leg with a bullet wound in it. I mean, who ain't in there looking high and wasn't able to rehydrate. So I mean, shit. If he whoops Canelo, he gonna definitely show me something. Snack
Yeah,
or
I
no
just
snack,
like I
because
said,
it's
I
gonna
gotta
take a
put him
lot.
higher. I gotta put him higher. I gotta put him top 10 because to go up 2 weight classes, never acclimated to the 168 weight class to beat the best guy there. I gotta, I by default, I gotta give you top 10, especially now you're gonna be a 3 division undisputed champion, 5 division champion. I just,
That's a good point. That's a good point with the no acclamation. I put him.
yeah,
I put
it's
him. I
just,
slide him somewhere in there, 15 to 20. Then
I mean, that's cool. Ty, where would you put Bud if he wins?
If he wins, yeah, I put him somewhere between 15 and 20. I'm just I'm kind of guilty of what you said before, like, because I really just don't like him. I won't deny that he definitely is a talented fighter and stuff like that. He just doesn't do it for me, for reasons that obviously, I just don't like how he handled the whole negotiations and the whole, you know what I'm saying, playing the this side of the street, that side of the street when it came to Earl. So that whole scenario kind of rubbed me the wrong way before the fight even took place. So I'm just not a fan of his. But I would give that to him. If he actually beats Canelo, I would put him somewhere between 15 and 20. Yeah, for sure. He could go like 19 for sure.
But
Yeah,
my thing is, all that other stuff. Hey man, the business of boxing is the business of boxing.
But
Y'all,
that was bad business, and it was done strategically. I'm not gonna go like all deep all into that, but I'll just say this: it was done strategically, in my opinion. I was not there; I do not know this to be a fact, but in my opinion, it was done extremely strategically. He knew that EJ wanted that belt. He knew that he was outgrowing that weight class, and then you went and took another fight with David Abination on BLK Prime after already complaining about fighters being on the other side of the street. You re-signed with Bob Arum and continue to play the same game. So like I said, my issues, and then you asking Al Heyman to see his books. I don't remember you ever asking Bob Arum to see his books. I don't remember ever hearing mentioning you asking Turkey to see his books. It's just a lot of things that went along with that whole situation. Like I said, that left the bad taste in my mouth.
hey
but
Ty,
we don't know what happened behind the scenes. We only
hey
know
That's
Ty,
it
what I
me
just
and
happened.
said. I
Ty,
just said that.
Only reason
Ty,
we know that happened is
me and Dub had this convo the other night, and I try to tell him like I feel that too, because I feel like that whole you need a tune up with David Avenue. Like, why you need a tune up for Arrow and you don't need a tune up for Canelo? It don't make no
hold
sense
on,
to
hold
me.
on,
And
hold
I
on, hold
think
on, hold on,
that
hold on, hold on 1 second. Let me interject real fast because I hate dumbass comments like this. Ty, what race are you?
Oh my God!
huh?
What are we playing?
Huh?
What race are we?
No,
I'm
no,
black,
no, no.
sweetie.
Look at the comment.
What
He
did he
said
say?
just an excuse to hate on the black man.
Well, we
Like,
all black up here,
What was
except
he
man,
talking about?
what the hell this nigga talking about?
respectfully.
What
like
was
Man,
he
don't
I don't
talking
even
about?
understand what is this is like the
man, fuck them.
dumbass comments that don't make no fucking sense.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't even know what he's talking about.
I don't
Buff
either.
fans be emotional, man.
I don't have to, man. I'm not addressing that bullshit.
I think, but like I was saying, Ty, I think that him taking that David Avenesian fight and pushing that fight off, I think we got a way worse fight than we could have got if they would have just got it on right away. You know what I mean? So I want to see guys fight at their best. I don't want to see one guy hampered in some way, man.
And like I
But
said, you know what I'm saying? That what happened in the ring happened in the ring, because if EJ wasn't his best, he shouldn't have got his ass in there. That's two grown men. He made his own choice with that. I'm just saying everything that went with that, the playing of the games, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just feel like they're very opportunistic. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
he's
saying?
definitely an
That's
opportunistic nigga. That's for sure.
but I argue for EJ the entire time, and yeah, that if that nigga, I done heard broken ribs, high, drunk. I done heard all this stuff. That man didn't tell me none of that. So I don't know nothing about none of it. All I'm saying is when you get in the ring, nigga, fight. I want to see. And if y'all saying that EJ went at his best, then that's on EJ. I think Canelo gonna
That's
be at
that's
his
all.
best. I think that Bud gonna be at his best. So whoever win the fight, we're gonna give all the credit to. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, if he is able to do it, then obviously he deserves credit. You know what I'm saying? But again, I find him to be extremely opportunistic, and I think that he started to see possibly a decline. Like, I have a problem with people that just sit around and let everybody else do all the heavy lifting and then come in at the end. Like, EJ went through that whole division, you know what I'm saying, and collected all those belts, and you knew he wanted that belt, so you let him do all the heavy lifting. I mean, it is what it is. Like I said, that fight happened. It is what it is. But those are my reasons for not really fancying Bud. It
It's
had
like a
really
nigga,
nothing to
like a
do with
nigga that
that.
hides during a war and then come out at the end and start scalping niggas like he did something.
Yeah, I just it's stuff like that that I just don't really take kind to.
Cash, you all the way out of order now.
I'm
Now
just
you out of
saying, bro.
order. Now you out of order. Look. Ain't no way.
Niggas wounded, bleeding on the ground and shit. Nigga running up, stomping. Give me the scalp, nigga.
Hey, Frito, to answer your question real fast, and I'll let Blue jump in here.
Shout out to my brother Blue
Yes,
Hustle, man.
I think it's more impressive than Sugar Ray Leonard coming back to beat Marvin Hagler. The reason why is, as good as Hagler was at 160, he was only a one weight class champion. I can't compare him to a 5 division, 2 division undisputed champion like Canelo. Canelo, in my opinion, is a better fighter than Hagler. When you start having these guys who are multi-divisional, it's pretty hard to make an argument that a guy who only fought at one
Man,
weight class,
Hagler would have fucked Canelo up at
I don't know
middleweight.
that he would have. I
I
really
At
don't
do.
know that he would
160,
have.
At 160, he would have fucked that nigga up.
I don't know that he would have.
I do.
Because Hagler, to me, is a lot like a Triple G. And what I mean by that is they both made a career at staying at one weight class.
ain't nothing wrong with that.
So you could be right, Dub. Hagler may have completely destroyed Canelo at 160, but we don't know. But I just don't see like one division champions. I don't see how you can rate them against guys who are 2, 3, 4, 5 division champions and undisputeds at that.
It was a
I just
different
See,
era.
Tony,
It
see
was the
that's
era though. It was a different era.
see, and Tony, you've said that before, and I've always wondered what you meant by that. Because to me, I think the opposite. I think like if you're constantly going up and up and up in weight classes, and you're a grown ass man, that means you were sucking yourself down to begin with. That's how I look at that.
Man, if Canelo would have fought Marvin
um,
Hagler at 60, Marvin Hagler would have beat the shit out of his ass.
here's the thing, Ty. I don't disagree with you, but where I do disagree with you is everybody's sucking themselves down. So that's to where like you just fighting other people who are doing the same thing you're doing.
Marvin Hagler wasn't sucking himself down.
I
That
know
nigga,
because they had same night weigh-ins. I got you. For the majority of when he was fighting, it was same night weigh-ins. I got you. But I'm talking about fighters today. None of them dudes, when they weigh in, are the same weight on that scale as they are the next night in the ring. There's nobody who fights, unless they've gone up already, multiple divisions. Nobody fights with their walk around weight.
we agree. We agree. Me and you agree on that.
So some of them do, but to your point, I see what you're saying. Not all of them do, but I'm talking about the major offenders, like the Devin Haney's of the world, and you know what I'm saying. Guys that come in the ring 20 and 30 pounds plumper than they were the day before, and they standing there looking like Michael Jackson and Thriller on the scale. I'm talking about those guys, the guys that it's like just completely obvious that they should not be in that damn weight
But
class anymore.
then we have to talk about every fighter that's currently fighting right now because they all do
That's
this.
fine with me. And I know, Dub, you've said stuff like that before. If they can make the weight, then oh well. To me, I just find that to be dangerous. And on top of that, it's like these are why some of these niggas keep getting knocked out because you're draining your brain, you're draining your body. That's why they be going in there looking all dry like they need lotion and shit because they don't have enough fluid in their damn body.
But Todd, my thing is that the same way that when you drop that weight, when you cut that weight, and even though you're looking for an advantage, you at a disadvantage when you dropping it and then trying to rehydrate in a day, day and a half. however many hours you got, when you dropping it and then trying to rehydrate, bruh, the last thing that
That ain't true.
actually in. Okay, well you can correct me.
And that, I mean, in Devin's case, if you looking like a skeleton on the damn weight on the damn scale, yeah. I mean, but if you just, man, we know why these guys are cutting all this weight because they can't hang at their normal weight, at their regular
At
weight
the
class.
yeah, at the
But who fights at their? You tell me who fight at their normal weight then? Who
And
fight
see,
at their
that's the
normal weight?
problem. That's why they need to
Don't none
bring
of
back
them fight at
same
their
day
normal weight.
weigh-ins. That's
Don't
why they
none
need
well
of
to bring
some
back
well
same day
don't
weigh-ins.
hold on. But don't none of these niggas fight at their normal weight. They all rehydrate. Like I mean,
But
if
they're
we
not
gonna
all on the
hold
scale
on.
looking
I
like a
have to say
skeleton.
one
How many
okay,
are
one
looking like a
person
skeleton on the scale though?
hold on. But so let me. I just want to ask the question. So when we
She's
ask,
talking about the extreme.
okay, y'all got. Go ahead, go ahead.
Hold on, let Blue jump in because he's been quiet this whole time.
Shout out to Hustle Man in the building, man. That's my brother.
was
What's up,
was
hustle
good.
man?
What
What's
up, bro?
good, everybody? What's up? What's up? What's up? Everybody in the chat, you know what I'm saying? Listening, shit was good. Um, okay, so
Bring
I
some
feel
order
like
to this.
this.
Bring some order to this motherfucker, man. Come on,
Okay,
man.
I got you. I got you. I got you. Let me go ahead and bring some
The
motherfucking order
most
to this
out of order
motherfucker.
nigga on the panel gonna tell somebody to bring. Go ahead,
Yeah.
hustle.
I'm trying to be. Hold on, now. I'm trying to be in order, sis. I'm trying to be in order.
So
Go
check this
ahead.
out. So if you can make the weight, I mean, there's a thing that we all pretty much agree. There's a thing to call a weight bullies. You see what I'm saying? Because they are not actually staying at their natural weight. They're shrinking themselves down, and then they're blowing themselves up, the next day. So it is actually unhealthy. But this is the chance that these boxers take, and we all know this. So there is certain fighters out there that I can't name all of them. You know what I'm saying? I can't. There's fighters out there that actually do fight at their weight class, and in my belief, I believe one of them is Brian Norman Jr. You see what I'm saying? Because he's been at that weight. He's been at 147 for a little bit, and
Now you out of order. Now you out of order.
well, I
Nah, I
mean,
guarantee you Norman walks around about
I
165,
I I I
170.
I
think
stood
so.
next to.
I don't.
Hold
I
on,
don't.
real
I
quick,
don't know. I don't
real
know.
quick.
So
I think he
go
like
ahead.
165,
I
170.
stood next to Junior. I stood next to him,
Hmm.
and the nigga couldn't away. And I say it respectfully. Hell, I'm 6'5", so maybe I'm biased. But when I looked at the nigga, I'm like, man, this nigga smaller than a motherfucker. God damn. And even
Yeah, but yeah, but
he
Dub,
had
Dub,
he had.
that's not even a fair assessment because
Hold
Yeah,
on. Let
because
me
I was gonna say you ain't proving my
no,
point. Let
wait,
me
wait,
go ahead
wait,
and
wait,
talk.
wait,
Let me
wait.
hold
finish
on.
talking,
I
man.
mean, really, Dub.
Let me just finish my point with
Let me,
Junior.
let me finish my.
Even when I looked at Junior, the nigga he had to be win, and this he wasn't fighting and nothing like that. His daddy was fighting. This was the senior versus a Hackett fight. When I'm standing next to Junior, that nigga didn't weigh. He couldn't have weighed more than 155. I put that on.
This all I'm gonna say. Dub,
Hold on. Are
no,
you really?
hold on, Blue. This is
How
all
am
I'm
I
gonna say.
order?
Wait. No, it's my order, my panel. This is what I'm gonna say about you, Dub. Okay, I make every motherfucker on here look small, but if I stood next to you, you gonna make me look small because you way taller and outweigh me by a good bit. So I don't trust your assessment. I'm 245
I understand
lean,
it. I'm
and
only
you
two.
was
I'm only 265.
yeah, but you also 6'5", and I'm only 5'11", so you gonna look
Agreed.
way more massive.
All I'm saying
So
is when I stood next to the brother, he seemed to be in order. But go ahead. I apologize for cutting you off.
okay, so why? Hold on. So why'd you cut me off to say I'm out of order then? If you agree with me,
Because
okay, I'm gonna go ahead and move on.
because
Then I'm gonna move on.
like my sister told
Because
you,
he's
I'm
the most
always
out
out
of
of
order
order.
nigga on the panel. No
I'm
one's
always out of
listening to
order. It
me.
is what it is. It is what it is. I'm that guy. I apologize to you.
Oh my goodness.
Go
Like
ahead,
I
Blue.
was saying, man, some people, because you could even say that Bud is a motherfucking weight bully, because he shrunk himself. Because Bo Mack even put it out there. He said, "Look, Bo, Bud's been shrinking himself down, and even out of Bud's mouth when he fought Earl Spence, it was hard for him to make the 147 when he fought him. So, he's growing out of the weight class. I mean, you could say you're growing out the weight class, but honestly, are you? You know what I'm saying? When you walk around like 160 something to 170, so like these fighters, when they're man, I guess I'm gonna just put it like this, man. Fuck all that dumb shit. These fighters do it all the time, and you know what? What can you say about it? Because they gonna do it if they feel like right now. I can honestly say that at Tank being fighting at 135, I think that that's a cool weight for him right now. Which how y'all feel about that?
Yeah, because his last two fights, he weighed in at what, 130, 132. Tank is actually probably a 130 pounder. You know what I'm saying? The nigga is 135
Yeah,
soaking wet with clothes on out the pool.
yeah,
I
and
don't
that's
believe
I
that.
heard. Well, hold on, and I've also
Hold on,
heard
hold on.
that he's actually a 130
Let
pounder
me, let
too.
me add this. I seen Tate Davis dancing in some cowboy boots in his kitchen and underwear, and that
Oh my
motherfucker looked at
god!
least 160.
But he
You talking
wasn't
about Adam
disciplined
Shaver?
then. Hold on,
You,
hold on, hold
first of
on,
all,
hold on, hold on.
Tony, what do that have to do
He
with
was not
anything, bro?
disciplined then, Tony. You know that.
Man, y'all better not start this Tank. Y'all better not start defending Tank for no reason. Let's move forward with the conversation.
I don't know, but there's weight bullies, man.
No,
And
it ain't no such thing as a weight bully.
why?
I just believe if
I'll
you
tell
make
you.
the weight, you
Go
See,
make
ahead.
the
there he
weight.
go, out of order.
If you make the weight, you make the weight, like Tony just said. And when you cut and try to get down to these lower weight classes, in my personal opinion, you lose more than you gain. You
Okay, so
lose.
hold on. Let me say this to you. Now I hear what you're saying, right? But you have somebody that's been weight that basically shrinks down, we'll say from 170 to 147, right? To make weigh in. So he shrunk down. Now you have somebody that actually comes in at that weight class, I mean at 147, and he walks probably around like 150, let's say 150, 155, like we're saying. So you have Boots, and then you got Brian Norman. If you have somebody that, in my personal opinion, this is my opinion, and maybe Tony can, I don't know. I want to, y'all can give y'all opinion too. Hopefully y'all do. But I believe that Brian Norman would be stronger and the fresher person because he doesn't have to take, cut so much weight. You see what I'm saying? Like he doesn't have to stress his body out so much. So when he goes in there and fights, it is not like he has an advantage, but he feels more comfortable.
I'll put it like this: we gonna find out very quickly, very
No,
soon.
I want you to answer. Like, do you agree with that? I don't want to talk
Well,
about the
no, no, no,
future.
no,
But
no,
do
no,
you
no,
agree?
no. I don't know 100% about how big Brian is in the ring,
It's
but what I'm gonna tell you is we're gonna find out very soon how much of a weight bully he is. Because if he's around the same size as Haney on fight night, then yeah, he's been a weight bully. If he's significantly smaller, then he's probably fighting somewhere around where he walks around.
Mhm.
So
But do you
it's yet
agree?
to
Well,
be
hold on.
seen.
My point was this, Tony. Hold on. My point was this. Do you agree with me? Somebody that walks around their fighting in their natural weight has a not a more of advantage, but is more comfortable at that weight than somebody that's stressing
No,
their body out
no,
making
no,
weight.
no,
You
no.
agree
I
with
I
that?
think
do. I
I
agree with
don't.
that.
I don't.
Floyd
I
No,
mean,
Mayweather
you
I
walks
do.
around close to his fighting weight.
I don't.
Floyd walked around in his close
Yes,
to
he
his
did.
weight.
Yes,
I
he
Yes,
agree.
he
did.
I
did.
agree. But my thing is
Okay, so you guys
today.
agree with me, and Tony don't,
Hold
right?
on, hustle. Today, most fighters don't walk around nearly close to that. All these niggas are cutting weight like that. They all doing it. So how?
Floyd was in the gym year round though, bro. It's unique. Everybody's situation is gonna be unique because most of these fighters aren't in the gym year round like Floyd.
Yeah,
Norman
but you got.
Jr. I think he's dedicated to the sport right now at this point in time. He's really hungry, so I think he's in the gym no matter he's preparing for a fight or he just got out of a fight. So I think every situation is different.
But you even look at a fighter like Floyd. Floyd, his dad said, senior said that he walks around like 152. So you got
Hmm.
to figure that's a dude, to caveat off your point, who's in shape 24/7, 365. And even with that type of dedication, because we know Floyd didn't drink, he didn't do anything. He always pop water bottles in the club. They say that all the time. He might hold the bottles, but he's drinking water. He lived the life 24/7, 365. And even he had to cut weight. The problem is, it's damn near impossible to fight where you walk. You're going to have to cut some type of weight, no matter how dedicated you are.
Why is it impossible
But
though?
hold on. But no, it ain't about it being impossible. My thing is
No,
you lose something, even cutting that weight, you lose something as far as when you get into the ring. I understand rehydrations and all that kind of shit. You still lose shit when you cutting muscle. And go listen to Bud. When Bud just brought up in this situation, what Bud say? I ain't gotta cut muscle weight now. I ain't gotta cut muscle weight now.
Exactly.
He
Dub,
was
But
capping
Dub,
though, nigga.
well,
Dub.
you call it capping. That's
You
fine.
can't say you can't tell
Hold
he's
on, hold on,
capping when
hold
you
on,
see him.
hold on. Let me finish.
I'm about
Damn.
to tell you how he's capping.
Well, let me finish, and then you can tell me whatever you
Niggas
want to
believe
tell me.
everything these niggas say. This shit is
Hey,
ridiculous.
Dub.
I can't even finish it. Go ahead, Cash. You
Dub,
know more
hold
than
on, Dub. I
everybody.
want to ask you a question. What is on the bottom of Crawford's shorts? What does that say?
Snack.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he don't lose nothing cutting.
Oh my
So
god.
you telling me when the man he telling us now that now with me fighting at 68, I'm not cutting muscle anymore. You believe so you don't believe that he was cutting muscle to get down to 47
No,
54 35. You
no,
don't believe he cut any muscle?
no, I don't.
All right.
Um,
Well, that's what you
you
believe.
you got to understand, and I've cut weight before. The more muscle bound you are, the easier it is to cut weight. The reason for that is your muscle is 75% to 80% water. So it's actually harder for somebody who's fat to cut weight than it is somebody who's really lean like Terrence because you have a lot more water that you can lose. So
None of these niggas are fat. Most of them, they've built up muscle, and so
not
when
really,
they're
because you
trying
see
to
a lot of you see
when they're trying to make weight, then and Tony, I say this respectfully, you done fought at heavyweight. And correct me if I'm wrong. You done fought at heavyweight the majority of your career. Am I wrong about that?
yeah, I would say you was wrong, but keep going.
And so all I'm saying is yeah, you can. There is water there that you can drain, but the majority, once you get to a certain size, nigga, you cutting weight to get down. If I'm weighing in or coming in, excuse me,
Have you
at
ever cut weight, nigga?
here we go. Now I gotta cut weight.
Exactly. So you
Now I
arguing
gotta
shit you
cut
don't
weight.
have no experience with. You just arguing shit you
Have you
heard.
cut weight? Have you cut weight?
Yeah, bro, I've cut weight
All right.
when I was wrestling.
So what when you cut weight, what was the
Don't
difference
try to ask
between
me
you cut it?
questions, man. Just
Not
quit
well,
talking like you know what you're
no,
talking
nigga,
about,
you
nigga.
started with the question shit. You started with that. So if you want to do it, let's do it. So when you had to cut weight, what was your muscle mass compared to the actual fluid that you drained off? What was it?
Make your point, bro. Without my help,
Nah,
you ain't
nigga,
getting my
you
help.
started the question shit. You started that.
You ain't getting my help.
I don't need your motherfucking help, nigga. I'm asking you a motherfucking question. You ain't gonna answer. All right, we got it. So don't interrupt me if you ain't gonna answer the fucking question.
You ain't answer my question.
What I told you, I did answer. I answered it directly. I've never cut weight. Directly answered.
So when I was boxing in the amateurs, I fought at middleweight, which is 165 for the amateurs. Okay. I used to walk around in high school because that's when I was boxing the amateurs when I started in high school. I would walk around at that time, I was like 185, 190. Now, I've had the fortunate that we used to open for the professionals. So they would have us weigh in before the professionals, and then we would open up before anything happened the next day, right? So we got the 24-hour rehydration. And there's a dude from like New Zealand or Australia. I can't tell by his accent. And he was arguing with me because I used to tell him I used to cut off easily 20 to 25 pounds. And then I would blow back up anywhere from 15 to 25 pounds by the next day. And he called me a liar. What was so funny about that was the very next day, literally, the very next day was a Sunday, and fucking Devin Haney's weight came back that he put on like 25 pounds. And I just found it hilarious that he called me a liar. So I never lost no muscle mass. I just dehydrated my body. We actually had a couple of things we would do. One's going to sound funny. We would do like laxatives to shit out waste right before the fight, and then we would get in a sauna, a rubber suit, and we would lose at least 15 pounds of pure water. Now you would feel like shit walking out there, but literally, I would tell you, 95% of all the weight that I cut was within 24 hours before the fight. Like literally before the weigh-in, within an hour, I'm cutting all that fucking weight and walking out there, and then I'm just hydrating the fuck out myself afterwards. I never lost no muscle. So the thing about it is muscle doesn't really go catabolic unless you go several days depleted. And it's a very short period of time. That's why you see people pass out or their body will do convulsions because their body goes into shock. Because most fighters, and this isn't just fighting, this is everything, bodybuilding, wrestling, etc. Most of that weight is taken off immediately, like literally overnight. And that's why you see people go into shock because they don't acclimate. Like if you did it over, say, a 2-month time period, 3-month time period, you wouldn't see guys stumbling to get to the scale. But it's your body literally goes through shock because you take it all off right before you get on the scale. Like I said, I don't know Brian Norman. Like, I don't know him. I ain't never been to his gym, even though we both in the A. I ain't never talked to him personally. But I guarantee you that motherfucker cuts weight in a sauna before he weighs in.
Tony, you in the A?
What's that?
Yeah, I don't
You in
know.
the A? I thought you was in New York.
I'm from New York, but I've been living in the A.
I gotta pull up on you.
Pull up.
I got you. We'll talk. Hey, respond to the email, man. We'll talk about it. I'll pull up on you. I ain't got no problem.
You
I said that
respond to
respectfully.
the email.
I said that respect. Well, yeah, I mean, it ain't nothing crazy. Everybody know I live in Georgia anyway. I don't live in A no more, but I ain't know you was in A. But go ahead, keep cooking.
No, I was just saying, even if you talk to Brian, because I know y'all have a direct line to him, ask him. And I'll tell you, I guarantee you, if I don't want to say if he's being honest, I will almost be willing to bet that he's going to tell you he cuts a significant amount of water weight, whether it be in the sauna in a rubber suit. You could also like do really hot water in a bathtub, put a bunch of salt in there, like Epsom salt, and get in a rubber suit, and it'll suck all that fluid out of your body.
I asked the question, and I know y'all gonna tell me that Senior lying to me, but I asked this question to Senior, and Senior was like, "Man, when it come to weight cutting, it ain't no real weight cut for us because Junior walk around very close to his weight. You know what I'm saying? He
Yeah,
walk.
that's what I was going off too. That's
Like
what I
I
was
So
going
said,
off too.
I can't.
no, if you want to tell me Senior lying, that's one thing, but I'm just going off of what the man said, and
Look, here's what I'll say.
direct interview.
Here's what I'll say. One thing, I won't call nobody a liar unless I catch them in a lie. But I will say that motherfucker be capping a lot. Now, with that being said, I don't really know because I've never met him like you have. You know what I mean? Like, I've been beside other fighters in real life. Like, I've seen Tank Davis in real life. Somebody was trying to tell me Jose Benavidez was 6 foot tall. And I was like, no, the fuck he ain't. I
Ain't
saw
even
that dude in
close.
New York when he fought Danny. When he got in there with Garcia. I literally was like shoulder to shoulder that motherfucker. If I'm 5'11, how the fuck is he 6 foot if he's shorter than me? But he tried to tell me that he sparred with him and he's 6 foot.
Nigga, he was
So
hunching over when he talked to you, bro. Could stop it.
yeah, that he was walking on his knees. But my thing is I can't say that he's not right, you're not right, Dove, because I ain't never met this dude in Atlanta. Like I've never met him. So I can't say. Now, if I meet him in real life and the motherfucker looks like he's close to my weight, I'm gonna be like bullshit. But if he looked little like you said he is, you know what I mean? I don't know. He might. I have no idea.
Man, all I'm telling you is that, and it really don't matter. It really don't matter. My thing, once again, going back to the whole weight cutting thing, nigga, you lose shit if you cutting tremendous weight and really trying to be a quote unquote. I don't believe in bullying in the sport of boxing anyway. That's just me. If you make the weight, you make the weight. But if you want to talk about it that way, I don't see Junior doing it that way. That's just what I see. But I could be wrong. If y'all see it differently, that's on y'all. I'm just telling you what I see.
I mean, I agree with you though. At the end of the day, I don't care how much weight you cut. If you make weight, you make weight. The thing about it is it really doesn't catch up with you till you get older. Like the younger you are, the easier it is to cut weight. The older you get, the harder it becomes. Um, that's why you should never be like in your 30s trying to stay where you started, because then you're gonna really start to see it affect your body. But when you're younger than that, you can get away with cutting a massive amount of weight because you heal faster.
It's like
Um,
it's almost like asking when we looked at Boots, right? The
mhm.
same way when we looked at Devin and we seen that nigga on the scale at 35, we like, God damn, nigga look like Skeletor, this motherfucker, man. God damn. Same thing with Boots. When that nigga was cutting weight, we was like, bruh, this shit don't look healthy. I can't tell you what it is because I ain't there. But at the same time, when I look at you, hey, I have a I can judge from that piece of it, but if you make the weight and then rehydrate to whatever you rehydrate, as long as you ain't in the IBF, then and your opponent ain't putting a weight clause on your motherfucking ass, a rehydration clause, excuse me, then man, rehydrate how you rehydrate. That's on y'all. And for you, even for you to say, I always find it funny because nigga to put on 25 pounds in water weight in it really ain't 24 hours. It's more like 36 to 48 hours, in my opinion. That's my opinion. But even if you rehydrate that way, I mean, I don't know what you get from it. I don't know. I don't know if you get any more power or anything like that. But if you able to rehydrate, then do it. You know what I'm saying? Once you make the weight, you make the weight. And I think you lose more trying to make the weight and rehydrating, especially if it's fluids. I don't think it do you that much good. Me personally, that's my opinion. But I could be wrong.
Well, I mean, it's a double-edged sword. Like I said, if you're young doing it, you could get away with it. If you're older, then it could start to affect you in a negative way. But you gotta understand, if you rehydrate and you're 2 to 3 weight classes bigger than somebody, it's definitely an advantage, without a doubt. And what people don't account for is it's not just the aspect of, well, I have more power. I can hit you harder. I can take more because I'm bigger. It's not just that, because especially if you're doing rounds, it also got to do with the fact that if I weigh you by 20 pounds and I'm laying on you in the clinch, you're going to get tired way faster than I am because I'm putting on a significant amount of weight on your legs, and you're just carrying my weight. Whereas you leaning against me really doesn't do much because you're lighter than me. So there's just, it's more than just power. Is you know what I mean?
But
It, it
what do you but then you have to also address outside of just the rehydration piece of it, you got to address what do you lose in that weight cut. You got to address that
well,
because go ahead.
whenever I cut weight, I don't feel like I ever lost anything. I felt the same. I felt like shit up till I felt the same, but I never felt slower, weaker. That's just this. It's anecdotal. I'm just one person. Somebody else could tell you something completely different. They could say they cut too much weight and they felt like shit. Or Devin Haney could tell you, well, I put back on 20, 25 pounds and I feel great. You know what I mean? It's really down to the person. So I can't speak for everybody. I could just tell you when I used to cut weight, I never felt any different once I rehydrated than before I cut weight. I felt the same.
I think we only got, and I said respectfully, if unless Cash doesn't can and Cash he know everything about cutting weight and the drugs and shit. So I say that respectfully. Maybe
I don't know
unless
everything.
Cash give me something different, then I got to go with what you're saying.
Tony,
I mean,
know more. Ask Tony about the nanograms. He know more than me about that shit.
but it's not just like, it's not just boxing. Like you have kickboxers, MMA, wrestlers, bodybuilders. Like it's a whole plethora of people who cut weight. Because you got to think about like, and I don't like how they look. I never want to be that big, but think about like Ronnie Coleman, Jay Cutler, Phil Heath, like bodybuilders. Them motherfuckers lose 50, 60 pounds within like a few days and get on stage. Now they're not competing, but I'm just saying, like, if you want to go to like the extremity of how much weight you can lose, them motherfuckers cut a dumb amount of weight.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know bodybuilders.
I'm gonna tell you, I don't know the right question to ask. That's why I say Cash. Break it down. Give me some questions here, because if you say he know, then ask the right question. I don't know the right question to ask in this situation because I ain't never had to do none of this shit. I can only go off of what I look at and what I see. That's all I can go off of. And so I have to take Tony. I have to take him at his word. I don't think the brother lying to us. I'm just telling you, I don't see it that way. So
Like, let me
go
give an
ahead.
example. Let's go back to Devin Haney, right? And you could correct me if you feel like I'm wrong, but to me, the worst he ever looked on the scale was whenever he fought Regis Prograis.
Agreed. I agree with you.
By fight
I
night,
thought the Regis and Lomachenko fight, he looked horrible on the scale.
right? So we could say comparable, maybe one worse than the other, but very comparable, right?
Agreed.
When Devin got into the ring, in fact, in both those fights, he looked no different than Devin. So you didn't see where that cut, where he looked like a refugee, affected him in the ring because he fought like he normally fights.
I would disagree with that. I thought that in the Regis fight, I thought he carried more power than he carried in the Lomachenko fight.
Yeah, but he looked just as bad, which means he was cutting probably just as much weight.
But now, but my thing is, and that goes into those 5 pounds. Hence the reason I say I think that he looked more powerful in that fight against Regis than he did against Lomachenko because he was cutting to 35 versus cutting to 40.
So check this out. He looked his best on the scale against Ryan Garcia. And look how that turned out.
I didn't think he looked his best on the scale against Ryan Garcia.
Yeah, I didn't
But
think
at
he
the
looked
s-
more. I didn't think he looked more powerful with Regis. I just thought Regis's feet was just running. Regis just running in there. Everything. Shit. I guess that made it look more powerful. Him hitting Regis all the time.
and
Here's
that
my
why
thing.
that why I say maybe I look at the shit wrong.
My thing about Regis is you can't talk all that shit and get beat up that bad. Like you
You talking
just
about Devin Haney and Regis?
yeah,
Yeah.
you can't pop off like that and get whooped that bad. Like you just can't do that.
But that's what Regis
Well,
did.
did y'all hold on? Did everybody on this panel think that Regis is gonna win that fight?
No, I picked him to
Hell
lose.
no.
Okay, I'm about to say, like, come on, man, like that don't make no sense.
No, but I'm just saying you can't pop off at the lip like that and get your ass whooped that bad.
I
But
mean,
I
you
mean,
can't
you
just
can
sit
you
on the
can you
fight.
can
Hold
you
on,
can.
time out. If you're promoting and that's what Regis and Devin Haney was doing, you can. He's promoting. He's selling. He wants people to buy tickets. I'm not gonna sit there and tell him what to do when it comes to making his money because that's how he makes money by
But
promoting.
you can talk shit. It's just that you
Yeah,
just didn't back it up. And
exactly.
No,
But
no,
and
no,
then
no, 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 no.
who thought he?
You could talk shit, but he was trying to throw personal shots. Like he was bringing up where he was
but
from.
I
He
mean, but
can't
it's
be about
box,
that life.
but it's boxing. It like
No, I
It's
got
niggas
boxing,
you.
bro.
do.
But
That's
what
what
No,
they
I'm
niggas
do.
saying is
niggas
you
do that.
can't talk like that and then afterwards get your ass whooped like he did.
Yeah, you can. We done
Nah,
seen it happen multiple times in the sport.
you
Well, a
can't never
certain
do that.
fighter, look. He can get away with it because that's not like he can get away with that. Now, like, so let's say Rolly and who's another fighter that's aggressive that's aggressive like that, you know, that could fight right now.
Rolly versus Pitbull.
No.
Well,
I would say
we seen Rolly get his ass knocked out. Rolly talked
no. I
all type of
understand. I
cash,
understand it,
but
but
he
you.
talked all type of
Oh,
cash money in that fight.
okay. Adrian Broner and Rolly, right? Let's just say
Now,
they was fighting.
Adrian Broner talked all type of cash money against
Yeah. So that's my point. That's my
hold on,
point.
what's the nigga? Hold on,
So
what's the nigga? Blair Flair. When Blair
yeah,
knocked this
Blair.
motherfucking
Okay,
tooth
Blair.
off.
Here, Blair and Rolly Romero right now at 147. People would tune in for that fight. You see what I'm saying? That was a good one. I'm glad you brought up Blair because that's perfect right there. So
Man,
when people will tune in for that fight to see because they gonna talk shit. Now one of the fighters ain't gonna live up to the expectation of what they're saying.
Bro, man, Blair Flair gets stopped against that nigga,
look,
man.
look, man. All I know is Blair. Blair is a sore subject for me because I like that dude, but his career.
It ain't about
No,
liking
no,
him.
no, no. I'm just saying his career just disappeared.
I mean,
That's
it ain't
because
but
he's a dark horse, man. He got ducked a lot. I mean, you gotta understand.
man,
Blair's the
stop.
type of fighter very unpredictable.
Ain't nobody ducking Blair Flair.
He's very unpredictable, bro. He is.
Ain't nobody ducking him because he don't bring shit to the table.
Well, see, that's the whole. But that's easy for somebody to say, "I don't want to fight you."
Man, stop it, man. You out of order.
Nah, you out of order because you ain't seeing what
I'm
I'm
all the
seeing.
way out of order. Then I'll be out of order. I, ain't got no, I told y'all it ain't the first or the last time I'm gonna be out of order. But
Hey,
That's
y'all.
me. But
all I'm
Hey, I'm
saying
about to
is
wrap it up.
ain't
I'm about
nobody
to wrap
trying
it
to
up.
fight Bloody Flair, man. Ain't nobody trying to fight that nigga. He don't bring
hey,
shit to the table. He don't bring shit. And the nigga got beat by Rocha. Rocha whooped
Yeah,
his
but that
ass.
doesn't really wait, hold up, Dub. You gotta see the whole context of the fight. The dude only had like 10 days notice.
That's
yep,
and
I'm saying it's not like he actually trained for the fight. He had 10 days notice. He should have never took it.
so what? All right,
yep.
what fight do you want to come? What fight has Bloody Flair looked fantastic in?
I'm not saying that he looked like a world beater. What I'm saying is it saddens me that this dude has only had like one fight in like the last 2.5 years.
That ain't on me.
Look, he
I didn't
tried.
say it was on you.
Only thing I can do is criticize and speak to what didn't happen. That's all I can do.
No, I
So,
got you.
do you think Boots should have fought Blair when Blair was sitting there calling out, basically begging for a fight?
Hell no.
Even went the route of basically asking Eddie Hearn.
Boots would have stopped that man in 3 rounds, man.
I'm not gonna
All
argue
right.
with that.
All right, we're
I
gonna
don't.
reel this back in. Hey,
A
hold
lot
on.
of the
We
problem that Blair the Flair had was that he was signed to Don King, which is a lot of the problems that a lot of these other fighters that have. Michael Hunter just went through the same thing. If they get the hell away from Don King, maybe they'll be more active.
Yeah, I thought he signed. Okay, he couldn't get a fight. He signed. He still couldn't get a fight. Then he signed with Don King. He got the fight with. He signed with Don King when he got the fight with AB.
That's because
And
AB is
then,
also with Don King, but any other promoter
well,
like
no, I understand it. That's what I'm saying. Like people didn't want to fight him because it was low. It was to me. I felt like it was not a high, like
No,
medium
no.
risk.
The
Let me
reason
say medium
the
risk
reason they
and
didn't
low
want to fight him.
reward.
No, the reason they didn't want to fight him is because the man ain't beat nobody. He ain't moved his way up like
Well, that's
everybody
what I'm
else kind
saying.
of.
It's medium risk.
Hold on. Ain't nobody. He ain't moved his way up the way that these other guys had to move themselves up. He ain't fought no competition. You tell me outside of AB and Roach, who the fuck is Blair Cop? Who did this nigga fight? This
You
nigga
know
ain't
what
moved.
fucked him up
He didn't
when he
put
lost to
himself in
Rocha.
that nigga didn't put himself in position. That's on him.
Well, when he lost to Rocha, that's what fucked him up.
But he never who did he ever beat?
no, that's not
I
what fucked him
mean,
up. What fucked him up is being signed to Don King, and a lot of promoters don't want to do business with Don King. That's the whole point.
Well, I thought he
well,
signed for Don King for that
the-
one fight. He didn't. He wasn't signed with Don King before
Yeah,
that
but
fight, though.
Don King, the small print on some of his contracts are ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? Like he's saying he's not with Don King anymore, but I mean apparently he's with him or around him because he's unable to get fights. And even worse than that, if you're not with Don King, then you really don't have a promotional team. And who wants to work with you with no promotional team? You really high risk, no reward then, because they can't get you have no belt, you have nothing really that anybody wants.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, I feel like people were just ducking him because they feel like not ducking him. You know what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying I'm trying to say duck. Actually, I'm just trying to say that people looked
But
at
then
him
stop
like,
saying duck. Then stop saying
all
duck.
right, y'all. We got to stop this live. We going down the rabbit hole. So here's what we gonna do. It's gonna go Blue. Say your final words. Dub, you go next. Cash, you go next, and then Ty, you can close us out. Dub and Ty, if y'all want to shout out y'all's channel, whenever you say your last 2 cents, go ahead and do that. If you want to, you could drop your link in the chat so other people can sub to y'all because we can grow together.
"Hey, great topics." You know what I'm saying? I came in late, but uh, good show so far, man. So on to the next one, man. That's all I can say. Shout out to everybody on the panel and people in the chat.
Hey man, shout out to my brother Hustle, man. Shout out to my brother hey, real quick, I gotta ask the question. Tony, are you coming to Out of Order Promotions, brother? We need you over here. Hey, we monopolizing the debate game. That's what we're trying to do right now. We monopolizing. So let me know, man. Hey, just let me know. But man, y'all make sure y'all sub to Dub Right Side. Go sub to my sister, Ty Jab Queen. She doing a great job over there. Cash probably need a channel. I ain't even gonna lie to you, cause Cash he's so far out of order, and that's my brother. I love Ty. I love my brother Cash. He's so far out of order, it don't even make sense these days. But I love him. And man, much love and respect to everybody. Great show, Tony, man. Appreciate you allowing me to rock. And we'll do it again next time, my brother.
Oh, Cash left. Oh, there he is. Go
No, no,
ahead,
I'm
Cash.
here. Um, nah, shit, I like your breakdown though, Tony, on the fight. Although I don't think Bud can beat Canelo trying to fight like he did post out, I think that he can survive the fighting like that. I think a lot of people ain't giving Canelo his due respect, man. He do a lot of shit elite in the ring that's gonna throw Bud's timing off, which is Bud's best attribute in my opinion. So I'm looking to see if Bud comes out and does this dumbass trying to download data like his fans be saying. Like he tried that, man. He getting cooked real quick, man. But yeah, I'm gonna catch you next time. Shout out to everybody on the panel, man. Salute.
Peace, Cash. Ooh, yes, this will continue to be a hot topic, obviously, up to and after the fight. This is just a fight that nobody asked for, nobody wanted, but we're here now, so we will break it down and analyze it. Like we discussed earlier about some of the things that Bud does well, I'm just not sure he'll be able to do them well enough against Canelo to win the fight. This is the face of boxing. We have to take a bunch of things into consideration. The judges, where this fight is being held, the plans that Turkey Al Sheikh has for either Crawford or Canelo after, because I do not see Crawford staying at 168 and defending any belt, just like he's never defended any belt. So those are a lot of things that we also have to take into consideration with this fight. Outside of that, thanks so much, Tony, for having me up. It's always a pleasure whenever I'm on your panel. Until next time, y'all, catch me on another panel, which will probably be my own tomorrow at 5:30 p.m. So pull up and enjoy the conversation. Peace.